got a Hugh Jackman on the streets of Toronto?
I have a new hero. I loved him already because he's a great. I've never interviewed him, but you have. He said he's wonderful,
guy.
right?
One of the nicest.
One of the nicest. I line up to interview Hugh Jackman.
I just adore him now because he rides a bike.
Well, let's take a look. Here he is in the city of Toronto.
Get ready for Toronto. Bring it on.
You see that bicep? That's Hugh Jackman.
Sun's out, guns out.
He is Jack.
Boom, boom.
But this was him going to his show last. Was it last? I believe two nights ago.
Tuesday night. Him riding into the Scotiabank Arena.
Wolverine, the bike riding machine.
That's right.
Straighten in those spears for
He's got the
spokes.
hat under the hat. But good on him, and apparently he does that everywhere he goes, right? He rides as much as he can when possible.
Well, he's in super duper shape. He's touring this one-man show called The Man, the Music, the Show. And as you guys said, it should be also called The Biceps.
Hello.
I'm thinking he probably heard about our traffic and said, you know, bike's the best way to get around here.
No, I think it shows his comfort in this city. The fact that he's like, I'm cool navigating my way and riding a bike. I think he's been here so many times. I love that he feels like he understands how to get through it, and
he ordered
biking
his car
is
to
the
come
way.
around, and that was his car.
And I like seeing him in a helmet.
Same. He could have been taking a fancy limo or an Uber.
Yeah,
He
he's his own driver, right?
Hugh Jackman has options in terms of transportation,
No.
and there he is on a bike getting some exercise in and being safe about it too. So
Another reason to love
It's
him.
more than just exercise. It reduces traffic on the road.
Yep.
It's good for you.
Pollution.
Smog. It's good for everybody else.
Yep.
You know, here I'm on my box.
Yeah,
I'm on my soapbox right now. I'm preaching.
But yay for also wearing a helmet.
Thank you very much for doing that.
Wear a helmet if you're riding a bike.
We're gonna.
Wear a helmet if you're riding a bike. All right, so Britney Spears.
If you're a kid, you have to wear a helmet.
What Britney Spears, what's not good for
If you're mountain
her,
biking, wear a helmet.
according to her dad, is the Free Britney movement. It's a little complicated. Britney's been under a conservatorship with her father for 11 years, which is an incredibly long amount of time. That's usually reserved for people who are severely disabled. Of course, Britney had a very public meltdown, breakdown about 11 years ago, and there's a Free Britney movement that's been underway, hashtag Free Britney movement, for a while, and Britney's dad has finally filed suit against Anthony Aaliyah, who runs the website Absolute Britney, and he says has falsely claimed that the court-ordered conservatorship has manipulated Spears' situation, and it's complicated because he's saying Britney does need it. This person who's just a fan and has really drawn this movement to the forefront. Britney hasn't spoken out about it, so obviously this is ongoing.
And the courts are going to be aware of this, and the courts are obviously following this, and they're the ones that make a decision on this. So
right.
They must feel there's a good reason to continue it.
Yeah.
Well, and at the same time, Britney Spears in past has been quite a fragile person. So is she still a fragile person? Does her father have her best interests at heart? There's a lot of issues here when there's that much money at stake. But when a fan comes in and is ruffling the feathers and really, you know, changing things up, it gets a bit complicated.
Well, they're not from the inside. They're not seeing what is going on with everything, right? This is just, I'm going to try and launch this. Yeah.
And we were a fan of Terry Hart, and coming up later in the show, she is starring in tonight's episode of Hudson and T-Rex, I'm calling it. Terry Rex. T-Rex cameo. That's coming up.
It's coming up.
Stay tuned.
Sneak peek.
All right.
Congrats, T.
Thanks, guys.
That's it upstairs now to Mel.